approximately a 8 to 10 foot wide walkway between the two buildings where they have another 18 seats there.
And what's next to that right there? Like what?
It's a warehouse to the right in this photograph.
It's fine with me.
Yeah, I'm good with this. Mr. Scott? To,
Whether or not to amend the agreement that we have signed with the property owner, or the business owner, I should say, excuse me, to allow the outdoor. That's correct. You have a draft of the current language. You have the current agreement. You do not have a draft of the language. We've worked that out, and that's what I explained here, is that we've no outdoor music, and that we put conditions on the times that it can be open till, and the maximum number of people that can be seated outside. That's looking toward the alley from the side door of the business. They're the adjacent building. They're right next to it. Correct? No. Wrong crowd is up on the eastern side. They're on the other side of the building. I don't have an aerial image of it, but not handy. Or I don't have the proposed, but I do have the existing.
what additional information would you want?
We will make those changes for next week, and we'll have it. We will ensure that those changes are provided for next week. The alley runs along the back of the building. And that's what they provided. They provided that petition signed by all those neighbors that are there. For them that back up to that. Gay Street. My understanding is it's the four houses that are immediately adjacent to that outdoor seating area.
It's Bernie's.
He's in favor of it. Of course. All right.
I think we should. Not vote for it.
I say 2-1.
2-1.
And yeah, I agree. That would be good to see the aerial and see all that stuff. You're right, but I think I can, in theory, approve it, and then next week we make that.
Okay, so that'd be a 2-1 for that. Okay, thanks. Before we go on, any comments from people attending the meeting? There's no council, I still can't get that straight. Anyway, item number 4, discuss request from bid to extend outdoor seating on sidewalks through March.
This was a request from Mr. O'Brien. So I'll let him on this first and then continue the discussion.
Thank you, John O'Brien, Executive Director, Westchester Business Improvement District. So November 15th is coming up. That is the traditional time according to the current ordinance that both the outdoor cafe permits conclude as well as the special platforms. Last year, council granted an extension of cafe permits, so allowing folks to sit on the sidewalks. Obviously, this is somewhat dependent on the weather of the day, but even in December and January, we had some good days, especially during lunch hours, where people were able to sit outside. So what we are asking for is, in light of the pandemic, which is still with us, and we're trying to be sensitive to customers who do not feel comfortable sitting inside, to give them the flexibility of sitting outside. We're not asking for allowing platforms to be left out, understanding that if a snowplow comes through or something and hits that, there's liability issues and all of that, and damage more to the plow that could occur. So we're really just asking for something that already occurred last year. If there are issues with, liabilities for whatever reason, there is an indemnification form the borough already has that can be adapted rather easily, in our opinion. And I'm sure we can, provide the necessary signatures for that. But, we're not out of the woods when it comes to the pandemic. We see the light at the end of the tunnel as more folks get vaccinated, but we do want to make sure Westchester is welcoming to everyone. And this is one way that we can achieve that. So thank you for your consideration.
So looking at the logistics of this request, there's two concerns that I have. One is the current regulations require all furniture and planters and items to be removed from the sidewalk by December 15th. We don't want an issue because of snow plowing, if they're trying to remove snow and things being pushed up onto the sidewalk, which is going to block, and then people removing snow from the sidewalk. Second concern I have is if we extend the permit through March, we need to make it clear, and I don't want there to be any confusion with the business owners, that they don't have to apply for a new permit in the new year. Because beginning January 1st, they can apply for their new permit. They have to pay the fee, so I don't want there to be any confusion on that part.
But there would be, without the platforms, would be a reduction of tables, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
This is for sidewalk dining only.
Any thoughts?
I mean, I'm in favor of it, allowing it. I mean, as long as you, like you said, they get things in so that there is no issue with snow plowing or snow removal. But as long as that's taken care of, I don't have an issue with it.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to have the planters along the curb if they don't have tables along the curb. If all the tables were kept against the building, then there wouldn't be a concern. There's area for snow removal.
If you have a $50 steak from Pietro Prime, I wouldn't want to be sitting outside in 30-degree weather.
Now, we do it, there is a template for where they can put the tables now.
They're required to submit a site plan showing us where the tables are going to be.
Okay. And so you're asking us or decide to extend it through March. Made some references to where things ought to be and where they ought not to be. Should we not ask for site plans for that period of time or what? Yeah. What did you say? Tables, chairs, and what was the last one, Mike? No, you said tables, chairs, and. Oh, the heaters. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can do that, but
Yeah, well, and that they should, beginning April 1st, they have to apply for their new permit.
but
Let's do that.
okay.
Okay?
And
You all right
if
with
we
that?
I'm ready to recommend this to council, but I think, and there should be something in writing, a la what Mike Perone just said.
That's some of the information that he wants, so
Will
we'll have that.
Will that be provided?
Okay, 3-0.
I'll say we can't go wrong under those circumstances. That's what I'm pushing for. Total harmony.
Any comments from people attending the meeting on this or questions? Okay, 3-0. Item number,
Excuse me, I just wanted to
Hey.
ask. So what's the story on the applying for next year for the summer months?
By April 1st, they'd have to apply for the outdoor dining permit for after March.
Okay. So we're
Typically,
talking,
it would be January 1st, but you're extending it through.
you're
past
talking
that
about what to do. We all were through March, but April 1st starts a new gig and it'll go the same way it has been in previous years. No change there.
Correct.
So there's expressed a concern that what, they wouldn't know about it or?
Well, we're going to write these conditions up and Mr. O'Brien will have to provide it to businesses.
so we'll have that
John
for next
O'Brien's
week.
very good about it.
Okay, good. Item number 5, this is a repeat from last year. Basically discussed request from John O'Brien of Carlinos to allow for a temporary tent on the sidewalk in front of Carlinos from November 21st, 2021 to November 26th, 2021. Again, we did this last year. I don't believe there were any problems as a result of it. Frankly, see no reason not to, that without much discussion.
Yeah, I think I don't remember it being an issue at all last year. I think it was totally fine.
John can answer that. I remember the
Sure.
reason. but-
So once again, it's a pandemic-related issue so this is what we're asking. They have specific times, November 21st to the 26th for the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm not sure if council wanted to take on, they didn't have exact dates, but it'd be basically the couple days leading up to Christmas as well. There are a lot of folks who pre-order their holiday meals from Carlinos. If you've ever been in there the day or two before Thanksgiving, it's a madhouse. With the pandemic, they try and limit the amount of folks that are in the store picking up their orders. That leaves a lot of people waiting on the sidewalks. And they wanted a simple tent that would be 6 feet by 30. So this picture has tables in there. There won't be tables, just to protect folks from the elements if they're waiting outside, if it happens to be a rainy day. The tent will be fire retardant, weighed down by concrete. And the sidewalk there is 18 feet wide. I measured it myself. So with that, there's plenty of room for pedestrians to go around the tent who are just out walking. Exactly.
Rio?
So I didn't know if council wanted to stipulate, was that for the Christmas, as a conditional approval, barring that they talked to Kevin for a couple days before Christmas?
That works for me. That's fine.
Do we want to say, I'll make up for them. So Christmas, so do you want to say from December 20th to the 24th? So that's the Monday before, and then the 24th is Christmas Eve. Is
fine,
that
yeah.
okay?
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
that sounds good.
Thanks so
Thank you. So, well, yeah, there'll be a 3-0 recommendation for supplemental there. Unless there are any questions or comments on that, we're going to go to item number 6, review September Building and Housing Monthly Report.
It's a fairly quiet month permit-wise, but we did receive, been busy on the land development side. We got several applications in. One was for 339 West Gay Street. As you can see, they're going to demolish that existing house that's there, subdivide it to 2 lots and build a twin home there. That's currently in the process with the Planning Commission for review. The owner of 15 and 17 South Poplar Street has applied for a reverse subdivision to combine 2 lots there and build a single-family dwelling. There were some approvals they obtained from the zoning hearing board by way of variance. And we also received big submission for Rubenstein's. So that's been sent to the County Planning Commission and has yet to go to our Planning Commission. We just received it a few days ago. As I was writing this report, it came in through the door. So that will be a fairly lengthy process there for review, and we will provide updates to Borough Council as necessary and get it here when it's ready for action. See, there's been a lot of work going on at the Spence Building next to Post Hotel. The addition is up on the back. I was there the other day, conducted some rough inspections. So we'll continue to go through there and do those inspections as necessary. But it's coming along. We haven't had any issues there related to that work. Just looking at some of the numbers here, it's a pretty good month for dwelling unit inspections. We're ahead of last year where we were for total units inspected. It was a fairly quiet month for the permits issued. We issued 45, but there were a lot of small permits for work. You can see the numbers aren't very high for the totals cost-wise. But Also a pretty busy month for violation notices. The guys are pretty busy out there. Issued 66 notices of violation. So that's where we stand for now. If you have any questions.
Sure.
Do have a status update on that. I reached out several times to corporate Rite Aid. Finally was able to get a hold of somebody. They called me back. They are working to come up with a design to present to us for us to review. They're working on it. That's the status update. I don't have anything to show you right now. I'm hoping in a couple of weeks they provide us with something. Probably longer than that, but yeah. And one other item to update, Chief Pelna had, or no, I'm sorry, Mr. Stefano had made a comment about 250 East Rosedale, the vehicle that went through there. The next day we were out there with the structural engineer evaluating the property. They did submit for their building permits and we did approve them. So they're hopefully going to get that work underway here very shortly and get that house fixed up, because there are 2 residents that are displaced because of that.
That was crazy. It looked like, I thought that before I knew a car hit it, I thought like something exploded in the house. That's what it looked like, just the guts of the house. It was just scary. So yeah, that's good to hear.
They were sent a notice. Mr. Hardy did reach out to them. They discussed it. They are going to look into replacing that fence. So it takes some time, but they have been notified.
Thanks. Unless there are any comments, questions, concerns, we're going to go to item number 7. Discuss amendment to Zukin Hotel Settlement Agreement, reduction of building height by 1 story.
Yeah. It is what it says on the agenda here. The applicant and the building owner are choosing to reduce the building height from 7 stories to 6 story. Reason is here is we all know that there's a settlement agreement attached to this project, which now has to be amended because of that reduction. Jeff, can you pull up the actual amendment that we have? That's the one that was sent. So in here, to the settlement agreement has the language that for the amendment to the specific sections of the settlement agreement. We are going to require the applicant to go back to HARB to get comment from HARB on the changes. And that is outlined in the settlement agreement, as well as the height of the new building. And I can turn it over to Mr. Nagel here to provide additional information regarding the changes.
That'd be great. Mr. Nagel.
Good evening, Brian Nagel on behalf of the applicant. Briefly, there are no changes. The 1 floor is being removed. You'll recall that the building had a step back at the 3rd floor, and then there were 4 floors above that. It's going to be the exact same, except instead of 4 floors above that, there's 3 floors above that. Everything else remains the same. Obviously, there's a height reduction. There's an Exhibit E to the amended and restated settlement agreement that we all signed. And that's going to reflect the updated lower height. It will reflect that it's going to go to HARB for comment, although my request would be the council approve it next week. And if HARB has no comment, which I'd be surprised if they do, but if they have anything, we'll come back to you in December and explain to you what they asked for, and we can talk about whether or not it's a necessary change. But if they don't have any comment and don't need any change, then we don't have to come back. That would be my proposal as to how to.
It's agreeable to me.
Yeah, I mean, surprising we're amending this again, but this seems like a pretty easy
It's-
amendment, so.
And yeah, I think we all are, but basically with the COVID impact, when they went through the process of making this thing happen and the financing elements to it, it's basically a value engineering, make the project feasible now as opposed to waiting till later. And so that's what we're trying to do. We expect a demolition permit for the existing building to be submitted somewhere near after the first of the year, first quarter at least. And we can get the thing going, which we're excited to do, so.
Yeah, I'd be excited about that too. I mean, this sounds like there was the only opposition in the beginning of this was the height in the first place. Wouldn't this kind of bring it down a little closer to?
This is the proverbial no-brainer.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it.
I'm looking at the picture. It's in our documents, the Hotel Indigo city presentation. That's what we're talking about right there, right? There it is.
Yeah, that's the updated one. And if you compare it to the last one, that upper section
Yeah.
was another floor.
Mr. Zukin has been lobbying various council members. And he showed me that picture and I get it. It's just
Yeah.
a little different there. Now, why do you have to go through HARB at all? Why?
I mean, I personally don't think we do, but I told.
Why
Mr.
don't you
Gore-
think we do?
What's that?
So, you said, I don't think we do. Why not?
Well, because it's not a change of significance, but it is a change. And so that's why I said to Kevin, I'm happy to go to HARB and see if they have any comment. And if-
Does the agreement really is a settlement agreement
Yes.
for a court order?
Well, that's true, Mr. Scott. However, when we went through the whole thing, there is a certificate of appropriateness that's approved through the settlement agreement by council. And so when we did this, I don't know, the second, third, fourth times, we went to HARB, got their comment, took it to council, made some adjustments based on the HARB. Maybe they had 7 things that they wanted. There were 9 that they wanted and 7 that we agreed to. We brought it back to council. Council said, yeah, that makes sense. And so when the agreement was signed, there was a certificate of appropriateness that was part of it in conjunction with the court order. But you're right, it all stems back to the court order. But there is a certificate of appropriateness approved by council. And so it's not inappropriate or unreasonable to say, go show it to HARB. If they have comments, let us know what they are. If they don't have comments, you're good.
Because I was ready to go your way, full boat with bother with HARB. But I see what you're saying. That's
I'm asking you to approve it on next Wednesday.
yeah.
But I'm telling you, I'm going to HARB next Thursday.
Yeah,
I'm going to
okay.
show it to them. I'm going to let them make their comment. And if there's anything of moment, I'll take it back to you in December and mention it to you. I don't expect it, but if it happens, we'll address it.
So we're covered either way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right with it?
I'm not all right with the 70 feet, but there's nothing I can do about it. It's a no-brainer. It's better than what's on the books now.
73
What is it?
73 feet to the,
Now?
that's what this is. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was 10 feet more.
Yeah, it was 81.5, so almost 10 feet.
The ordinance says 60, and that's what I'm for, but we're working within a framework of the existing agreement.
That's,
So I'm all for
that's
that.
water under a troubled bridge, Mr. Scott.
What's that?
I said that's water under a troubled bridge. It's my little Paul Simon and Garfunkel reference for the day.
Oh, but I still have my deeply held beliefs. 3-0.
So,
Thank you. Have a nice
You're
evening.
consistent. I gotta give you that. Okay, unless there are any comments from people in the meeting, I'm gonna go to the HARB submissions, all of which should be straightforward. See, the
Yeah, there's no-
item A is a sign with, have a recommendation that just to reduce the size of the sign, as noted at their meeting, which I was not. Item B, again, is a hanging sign from the front of a building. And this is a sign that came from another building. It's a clear plastic sign, and they just want to be able to, they have it on the front porch of the house. They want to be able to move it up, so they want to remove half the chain. So it was approved with that recommendation. Item C, sign hanging on the side of the building, and the recommendation was they wanted a 4-inch deep sign, and HARB said, no, we want for a 1.5-inch deep sign, 36 inches tall, 8 feet wide, with gooseneck lighting, similar to what we find in other areas of the HARB. And the usual no exposed conduit, all joints going into the mortar. It's standard with pretty much everything. Item D, again, another sign that was approved on the condition that a field of the sign be not stark white, but white. So there really wasn't anything major going on there. I personally don't have any trouble with. Here we go. Thank you. Comments?
I have a question for Mr.
Okay.
To the applicant, yes.
Okay, good. Item number 9, approved 2021 smart growth minutes. I can find the minutes. That's fine. Okay, 3-0 for the minutes. Item number 10, any other business? Great. Item number 11, we're adjourned. Thank you.